Hello, and thank you for joining me for my presentation titled Reasons to Enroll, Music Business Students' Motivations and Requirements. What I will talk about is a small, I would say tiny, exploratory research that I could deliver in 2020 and 2021. It's about the motivations and requirements of music business students, how they enroll, why they enroll, and what they expect from their course and from their educators. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fruzsina, or Fruzska, it's much easier to pronounce, Morcz. I'm a promoter, a manager, and I used to work for the Hungarian Music Export Office. I started music business education on the higher education level in 2011 at Corvinus University Budapest, and in 2013 I started my own private music business school titled or called Music Business Office or Zeneipari Hivatal in Hungarian language. Currently I'm a PhD student at Eötvös Faculty of Education and Psychology. I'm doing a PhD in education, and my research topic is the music business education and its relationship to the labor market within music business. My motivations for this research are rooted in three different events and causes. The first one goes back to Vienna Music Business Research Days in 2019, where we had a lecture on problem-based learning. And after there was a very serious debate about music business education and music business courses, and about the reasons why students enroll, what they want to achieve, whether music business courses should follow the industry trends and be a response to that and prepare students to be employable, or whether they should teach academic and general knowledge. The other motivation is that there is no music business education research with students. There are some small researches where students were asked about the curriculum, but not about their motivations. And you can find two bigger music business education research, one on the UK education, one on the German one, and some small ones on different parts, including internships or curriculum and different aspects of the music business education. So I wanted to know why these students apply to these courses, what are their reasons to enroll, and what are their requirements. And the third motivation is to know what the thoughts and requirements are of students who apply to these courses, in order to see what educators and course leaders should develop, think of, and make clear prior to application or the enrollment itself. I want to warn all my listeners that there are several limitations of my research and my presentation. The first is, this is a small, I would say, a very tiny exploratory research. I would say a research study, because this is my first research, and I wanted to look into the topic and see whether my questionnaire works out and whether I can deliver a research, and whether the topic is worth to be investigated in depth. Also, I have to emphasize the force of the questionnaire I had prepared. Now I can see that, for example, notions should be cleared or definitions should be given in order to understand the same things under the same question. And I also have to say that I could see some change in the eagerness of people giving responses, because due to COVID and the Zoom tiredness, I could get less and less responses. So because of that, this is a limited research, and I can give interesting thoughts, but I wouldn't say that my results could be generalized. So these results and my small research is just a first step towards a bigger research that I would like to do next year. So my data source, including the countries and reasons and the respondents, I asked students in 3 different countries: Germany, Hungary, because I'm from Hungary, and in the United Kingdom. And because of these countries, I had to include students who attend adult education, because in Hungary only adult education provides music business training. And I had the chance to ask university students because of Germany and the United Kingdom, because these are developed music business courses over there. So before I talk about the results that these questionnaires has given me, I would like to look into the literature, what it says about music business courses. And 3 different approaches could be distinguished in the literature. If you look into music business education studies, the first is a UK approach, which is more linked to the research universities perspective, and most UK music business courses. And I would say, and I would like to emphasize, that many creative industry courses and critic on music business and creative industry courses are related to this approach, the research university approach. The second approach that one can find in the literature is the German approach. Is based on the German education approach towards university education, and how Germans build up the education system in Germany. And the third one, I would say that could be the US approach, which is much closer to the industry needs and the music business sector. So if we look into the UK approach, what we can say is that there was a change in 1992 when polytechnics were changed into new universities, and these are the universities which started music business courses in 1999, and the first was started by Chris Kemp. You might know his name. Yeah, and he worked on that course for 2 years in order to develop it, and that was the first one in Europe, as far as I know. We could say that there are 3 different music courses according to Clunan and his colleague. The first one could be called musical courses, which means that these are musical trainings for musicians or to train musicians, and music skills are the main focus here. The second type of course could be called theoretical courses, where the scientific approach is the most important one. And this is a scientific approach towards music business studies as well. So we could say that popular music studies courses belong here. And the third one is called vocational by Clunan and his colleague. And it means that these are management courses in order to provide occupation-based degree. The German approach is different. You can distinguish 2 different approaches towards higher education in Germany. The first is a Bildung aspect, which means a humbled concept of higher education, where universities focus on teaching and research. So it's a science-based approach. And another approach is the Ausbildung approach, which stands for applied sciences, and the focus is on tools for future career of students as well as practical skills. And it is quite similar to the UK system in terms of the institutions which decided to start music business courses, because classical or old universities in Germany are very similar to the UK ones, that they still resist, I would say, to this new approach which comes along with music business courses. So mostly music business courses are launched and developed by private universities in Germany, which are more linked to the Ausbildung aspect of education in the higher education system of Germany. And I could find a very useful article on a different approach, and I would call it the US approach, because following the association's journal and the several excellent researches, I could figure out that there's a different approach in the US towards music business education, and it is more linked to the industry needs. But in Richard Strasser's article published in 2015, he talks about, or he writes about, basically, he writes about 4 different aspects towards music business courses, and these are 4 different pathways students could take. The first one is a professional concentration, and it means that this is an aspect that could be useful or could be harnessed by practicing professionals who want to get a degree because they already work in the music business and they would like to have an academic qualification of their occupation. The second aspect is the research concentration, which means an approach for students who would like to work in academy and their aim is an academic career. The third approach is the entrepreneurial concentration, which means that some students would be more interested in the creation and commercialization of actual products and services. These could be the future, I would say that these could be the future entrepreneurs of the music business in the music business. And the fourth one is the practice concentration. This is for students, as far as I could understand, who start to work in the music business and have no practice. So this approach focuses on experience firsthand, and useful for students who would like to gain some experience. If we look into the music business education literature from a different aspect, we can find different issues. The first is the relationship between the industry and the academy, whether this courses have any relevance from the industry perspective, whether there's a very lucrative and working cooperation between the two parties, and whether they have a vivid and working network. If you look into management education and its critic, the problems are very similar. You can also look into the internship literature and look into the role of mentor, how important mentoring is. And there's an article published in 2016 saying that without mentorship, students would not really harness internship. And also, you can find articles on the communication between university and the workplace mentor. It's an article that was published in your journal in 2016, and it's a very informative one. Also, there's a question about the practical approach and skills provided by these courses. It's a debated issue in the United Kingdom around creative industry and music industry courses, whether these students are prepared for music industry internships and jobs. Questions could be raised about the labor market and whether students are prepared for the conditions within the music business. Also, the stardom culture and the difference between the stardom culture and students can see before application and the reality of music business. And the sixth thing that I would emphasize is the transferable skills and present requirements question, whether practical problems and academic problems are the same. There are some literature and some studies on the transferable skills and whether skills developed in one system, meaning, for example, academy, could be transferred to other pre-academic situations. It's a very interesting question to be examined. So, results of my small research, and I want to emphasize this is a tiny, tiny one, and this is exploratory research. The main questions were, why do these students enroll? Do they want to get a job? Do they want to build a network? Or because they want academic knowledge? How burdensome is for students to pay the course fees? Do the students who can afford a music business course come from wealthy families, or they are student loans to cover their tuition fee? How vocational do they require their course to be? Which are the music business jobs they would like to choose? I had 33 respondents, and out of that 32 were valid. These were responses from Germany, Hungary, and the United Kingdom. Students were finishing or have just finished a music business course in these countries. And questions were on financial background, vocational aims, and requirements. I will go into details in a minute. So the questionnaire had 4 different sections. The first section was about personal details. The second was about nationality, country of origin, country of studies, financial circumstances, what kind of efforts they had to make to cover their tuition fees, decisions, whether they had to move countries, whether they decided to apply to that particular course because of the music business in that particular country, and what course characteristics they would like to see, and what are their requirements towards the educators and the course itself. I used a questionnaire that was sent to course leaders, shared on Facebook, and forwarded to students directly. And it was very interesting because I had a very huge age cohort, starting from age 19 up to age 39. And I had 8 nationalities apart from the 3 countries, so meaning German, Hungarian, and British respondents. I had Italian, Swedish, Turkish, Lithuanian, and Serbian respondents. And these were, as I mentioned, the different courses. In the case of Hungary, it was an adult learning course, and in case of the United Kingdom and Germany, these were university students. So the most important results. First, I asked students whether other options were considered when they applied for a music business course. And here we can see that all the related sectors and fields are listed. So most students thought of music, management, or any art or philosophy related or music related degree. And then some of them thought of marketing courses as a second option, or cultural or economic courses. So these are related, and what we can see from these results, and that's why I'm saying that I would like to start over again and start a deeper research, is they may have skills in these fields. So it means that these are orientations they are interested in, or jobs that they would like to take, or these are other fields that could be more related to a degree. It was also important to know how burdensome it is for students to pay the tuition fee, because these students are interested in the music business. What is it? Because they want to work in the field, and do they look at these courses as an option for getting a job and being employable in the music industry? So the money issues. Here you can see that out of 32 respondents, 13 found the course that they had to pay for expensive. 17 out of 33, and I would say it was the same with 32 respondents as well, had to get some family support in order to attend that certain course. They had to do extra jobs, they had to ask for a loan, work part-time or work full-time. 11 out of the 32 respondents asked their family to pay their course fee. And it is also important to note, and it is related to the creative industries research. There is one published in 2016 by O'Brien and his colleagues that most people working in the most people working in the creative industries sector come from upper class families and management and professional families. And here we can see that these are people from wealthy families. 4 of them come from wealthy families, 9 from above average families, it means financial circumstances, and only 1 student out of 32 would call or say that his or her family is poor. Which countries are most attempting to these people attending music business education? It's surprising for me, and I don't know what you think, but people preferred United Kingdom over the United States, although there is a huge difference in literature and satisfaction of students with these courses. But it is also one question that could be raised. Is it because these are European students and they don't want to go overseas? Or is it because they have less knowledge on the United States music business courses? Or is it because they know less about the country itself? Some students were interested in Sweden. Netherlands was also a very popular option. And as you can see, there are some people who would stay in their own country, including German students. And it's important to emphasize that I had 11 German respondents, and out of the 32 respondents, 9 said that they would stay in Germany or they would go to Germany. Do these students have a plan B? What if music business career doesn't work out? Here we can see that 1/3 of these students do not have a plan B. And this is worrying because as we can see from the literature and from music business practice, many people leave music business after 5 years because of the precarious labor market. So it's something that I think educators have to consider. What if someone getting a music business degree would like to leave the music business after 5 years? And do we make them aware prior to application that it's not that easy as they think, or they might think? That's better to say. Reasons to enroll. These people enroll because they want to gain knowledge on the music business. The second motivation is the networking side. They want to build a network. The third one, as we can see here, is what they want to get into the music business. They want to work in the music business as an employee, and they want to know more about the music business in order to work in it, and then to start their own company. Here you can see that 15 out of 32 gave that response in the questionnaire. And here you can see that out of 32 respondents, no one said that they would like to work in academia. So they all want a job. And they don't want to go into research or academic career. So their main motivation is to work in the music business. What is the aim of a music business course according to these students? Here you can see that they think that the aim of a music business course is to develop skills and competencies, and then to help develop music industry networks, educate on the global music industry, help students to get into the music business, so also, again, the music business employability and job aspect, and then to educate on the local music industry. So they found global music industry much more important than the local. What should a music business course provide? Here you can see a ranking, and the first one is the skills that they have given as the most important factor, then the knowledge, then getting in touch with music business professionals. So here the networking aspect is the third one. No, as you can see, the fourth one, getting in touch, meaning that meeting these professionals. Internships comes as the sixth, and then different conferences and venues come at seventh and eighth. What sort of knowledge do they require? By the end of the course, they would like to be able to manage a musician, an orchestra or a band, organize a concert, and be able to set up a music marketing campaign. I'm not going to say all the things that I offered them in my questionnaire, but here you can see that they are not as interested in website building, and it's also something interesting to be examined in the future, whether it's because they are digital natives or whether this is not important for them anymore because of other social websites. But they found the skills that they can use right away the most important, as we can see from these responses. What kind of educators do they want? They would like to have educators, I will start with that, who are practicing music business professionals, or ex-music business professionals who turn to academia and teaching, but they have their experience. They are also interested in who are educated as professional teachers, but here you can see it is not as important. I mean, the teaching experience as the practice, the music business practice. And they are not that interested in PhD. I mean, the respondents in this special questionnaire. What they have at the moment are practicing music business professionals, ex-music business professionals who return to academia, and music business teachers who have a PhD and started teaching. So it's a bit different from the ones they would expect. How vocational these courses should be according to these students? What they say is that all the tasks given should be related to music business, such as marketing plans, management, and organizing concerts. And then they say that they want to see music business companies in operation. They want to see real-life scenarios, and they also want to attend music venues and conferences. There was a question about what they think about the vocational aspect of these courses. They say that the uni should teach highly practical and current knowledge, hands-on and practical knowledge. The main value of a music business course is the information not to be found in the books. You need to be 10 steps ahead to remain current. These courses should invite more members of the industry. Music business is a very hands-on, therefore courses should be more vocational than the average. It's very important. And they should teach highly practical and current knowledge, hands-on and practical knowledge. Main value of a course is the information not to be found in the books. I have to emphasize that these answers come from students who are German, who attend the German, a Hungarian, and a British course. So these are from different students from different countries. They also say it should be a realistic practical course. It should be applied science in nature. Teachers should be practicing music professionals predominantly. So the conclusions of this research are: skills are crucial. Students want work. I mean, students in this research, they want to be employable by the end of the course. Some of them, 30%, which is a huge number, have no plan B. Vocational orientation is important for them, as well as industry contacts, and they want network. But my question is, do we teach them how to network? Is it part of the curriculum? I hope you found some of my research interesting, or you could find a tiny, small, new detail in it. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for listening. Here you can reach me if you have any more questions. I'm very happy to get in touch with music business educators, because I would like to get in touch in order to reach students and talk about music business courses. I'm doing my PhD in the next 2 years, so I'm very much interested. Here you can find all the literature I used for my presentation.